I'll be honest, I'm kind of a reflective kind of person. And this means sometimes I see both sides of things to a fault. And I like nostalgia as much as the next person. But the thing is, when I hear people talk about the good old days and how much better we had it and how terrible things are now, I just don't really see it that way. Evolution keeps going, no matter what. Have we really forgotten what it was like to live back then? Let's talk about a few of the good and the bad and the ugly of yesteryear. My dad was a good man, but when we went on family vacations, something strange happened to him when it came time to look at the map. He always said this word fudge, and I thought, are we going to stop and get some fudge? He always said that word, and we never got any fudge. It's as big as a bedspread. I gotta fold this up now. Oh, fudge. Hey, Google, give me directions to Denver, Colorado. Back in the day, we spent a lot of time fighting with our own house. If you wanted to eat a TV dinner before we had microwaves, remember those aluminum pans and you would put them in the oven for 45 minutes? Meanwhile, if it was July, your whole house heated up like a sauna. So we just couldn't have TV dinners in the summer. And speaking of Salisbury steak, I think there were like, what, 3 choices? Salisbury steak? What is that anyway? Fried chicken, maybe meatloaf, something else. That was it. Now there's like 5,000 different varieties, and you pop them in the microwave for 3 or 4 minutes, and you're done. And the house is not heated up. And remember how limited our water heaters were? If you didn't get out of the shower in 2 or 3 minutes, there was going to be a major family fight because you were going to run out of hot water. Or it would run out in the middle of your shower and it would sound like a scene from Psycho. Then there were the electrical circuits. Heaven forbid you should run the hairdryer and the vacuum cleaner at the same time. Boom, the whole house goes dark. I guess there was an upside. Back in the day, if you had to wait 45 minutes for that Salisbury steak, well, it was going to taste really good because you'd be really starving by the time it was done. And maybe part of what we lost along the way was the ability to wait, to learn to appreciate sweet anticipation, like waiting for a letter to arrive in the mail, like the anticipation of waiting for your college acceptance letter, and the tactile experience of tearing that letter open as opposed to an email. I don't know, that was kind of neat. So yeah, I think we've kind of lost the ability to wait, to be patient. Nowadays, if a web page takes more than 3 seconds to completely load, we're about to lose our minds. And yeah, we're inundated with too much information these days, but it sure was hard to get the information you needed back in the day. If you were lucky, your parents spent a small fortune on a big set of encyclopedias. And you'd go through those every time you had a book report or anything you just needed to learn, and you'd go look it up in the encyclopedia. So after about 2 hours of work, you might find the definition of a tree frog. Those encyclopedias would sit there for years, for decades, while the information changed. Now we just Google something and it's up to date. But I understand there was kind of a magic in not knowing the answers to everything immediately. Remember sitting around the table and trying to remember or debating who did star in that movie or who sang that song? Now somebody flips out their phone, gets the answer, and that conversation is over. Another thing about technology that kind of has pros and cons. When you left the house back in the 60s or 70s, you pretty much were off the grid at that point, which could be really, really nice, not being reachable. But what if someone did need to reach you? Good luck with that. But when we left the house, if we went to see somebody, we tended to be fully present with them. We weren't looking at our phones. And without a phone constantly buzzing in your pocket, you just weren't as distracted. But run out of gas on a deserted highway, no cell phone. You're just going to sit on the hood of your car listening to the crickets, hoping that someone comes by and will stop and help you. But beyond these daily silly hassles, there were some real difficult times that we lived through back in the day. And I think it's important that we don't gloss over them. You know, people say a lot of times that our nation has never been so fragmented as it is now. People are so divided, and it's true. But this is not the first time. This is not our first rodeo. We had some incredibly difficult times. You talk about a very popular president being assassinated in Kennedy. You talk about Dr. Martin Luther King being assassinated. You talk about the Vietnam War. These are horrible times that we came through. These things divided our families, our friends, and our dinner tables. So I think we're selling ourselves short to say this is the worst it's ever been. And that's just a few of the things that were going on. Racism was almost accepted as normal in a lot of areas. Women did not have the legal right to get credit up until the mid-70s. They could use marital status as a factor in determining your credit. So the past was far from a peaceful, perfect time. But the beautiful thing is we made it through. And I think if we have that attitude of resilience, we'll make it through this too. Whatever this is. And can we talk about the air that we breathe? Do you remember riding in a car with someone smoking and the windows rolled up? There was smoking on airplanes until fairly recently. Everything we owned just smelled like an ashtray. So yeah, I love to look back at the old days, some of the music, the movies, the cars. God, I loved a 67 Camaro. Getting older means learning how to appreciate where we came from. But maybe getting bolder means being glad that we left a lot of things behind and that we're moving forward. We can cherish the wonderful memories of our youth without pretending that everything was perfect. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's something absurd that we used to put up with when we were younger that we don't have to anymore, or vice versa?
Oh my God!
Oh, I thought I had it.